Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this stream video for my class, IDCast. So today is a very cool video because we're going to go to London Heathrow with the Airbus A321. Now, instead of us going straight into the flight, I'm going to program the flight management computer. Jump right into it. Yeah, there might be a black screen now. However, now it should be all clear. Now, I just have to do a few corrections here. Now, we are in the Tolis A321, so a few adjustments that I have to make from the 320. So first I have to just check little things so that the stream is up and running. So let me just go to my channel. Okay, everything seems to be good. Alright, let's get started. So I do have the sim brief plan here right next to me so that we can enter in all the data necessary for our flight today. Now I've already entered a bit, as you guys can see. So A321. So now let's set this up to here. Now I'll discuss all this in a few moments. So firstly, we have to, okay, so flight number will be British Airways, BA 520. Now cost index, now the cost index will be 7 today. Cruise altitude, I think it was 34,000 feet, right? 34,000 feet. Now into the fuel data and the block of fuel. So we have 9.5 tons fuel today, and yeah, we are flying pretty heavy today, actually, 215 passengers. Now zero fuel weight. Zero fuel weight is 72.2. 72.2 slash zero fuel weight center gravity 27.5, and the aircraft is all calculating all the data. So this is the trip time and this is the extra time we're gonna have. So we're gonna have 1 hour and 47 minutes including this amount of fuel. So once we arrive at destination, normally there's going to be empty fuel on board notice very soon. So but first we have to enter all the waypoints and everything. This does seem to be a pretty interesting turn, but we're gonna see. So let's go to the plan. Next page. Sorry about that. Okay, so okay, sorry. So KPT, Kilo Papa Tango, then our airway is Lima 608. Okay, Lima 608. Hang on a minute, hang on. KPT L608. Okay, L608. Okay, hang on a minute. Okay, what we're gonna do actually is this does not work, then we're gonna direct to okay, there we go. Direct straight from there, and I'm gonna direct to Lima India Romeo Sierra Uni Lirsu Alright. Now, direct to, then, okay. Yeah, his waypoints are pretty particular. And UL608 SUMUN summon. Okay. Okay, and we finally direct to Logan. Right, I think it's this. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's this one. Anyways, we shall see if this is the right one. So okay, so is it L09 left? Okay, we do have the charts as well, so we can enter all the data through this. So we go on arrival, and then we are gonna arrive on 0. I left 09 left. Now we'll okay. Okay. 1. Okay. So 632 nautical miles. Now this seems to be reasonable to me. Now EGFF. So this is our alternate EGFF. So GFS. So this tells us the flight level 16,000 feet and time 25 minutes, and we're just gonna enter in the 30. So on a secondary flight plan, if we go in there, we have to type in the current one, Louis-to UGFF, right, cost index of 7, cruise altitude of 16,000 feet, phone number, BA, I have to remember that, BA 520, BA520. Now this we do not have to enter in yet, unless we're really doing it. Now the important part is just to type in this area, and we select this here, and then we're good. Secondary flight plan. Now it's going to take an hour and 35 minutes to get there, so there's going to be a pretty long flight. Now we'll have to adjust my seating position as well. So yeah, because the sensors do not sense my VR thing. Now we zoom out, we're gonna see the QNHs and everything like that. Actually, what I'm gonna do, so that you guys can see this better, is this. There we go. So if we go into TOLUS and we just take this option out, because we do not need that. So this is easier for us to see and comprehend. Here we go. So this is the important bit. All the way in weather data. So the QNH today is 1017. Just gonna say there. This is the red bit is just the barrier on my VR. Now that, and UGL QNH 10112. I am gonna type in all the data first. So 10112. Temperature of 22 degrees. Transitional altitude, I think it was around about 6,000. I think it was that, something like that. Let's just check. So if we go to charts, here we have the chart here. We do have to skip quite a lot of pages because this is irrelevant information that we do not. Well, it is valid information, but it is not what we're looking for at the moment. So this is what we're looking for. So transitional altitude 6,000 feet. Now look closely. We have to have a decision height altitude of 279. We type in the yeah, okay, so basically there's two differences. So this is the DH, right? DH will be 200 and the MDA, so MDA will be 279 basically. We usually type in MDA normally instead of DH. Now the wind doesn't, we're going to type this at the last moment because it changes all the time. Now what I need to do is transitional altitude of takeoff will be 10,000 feet. So now V1, yeah, flaps 2 takeoff, 2. I'll have to put that in. There we go. So 41, 52, 56. Alright, no flex, we're going to do toga today. And everything is set, so ready to roll. So an hour and 34 minutes. Cost index is 7 as well. Now the cost index, I mentioned this in another video, but basically depending on the range cost index, this will depict which speed your cruise altitude and which speed you're going to go at cruise altitude. So for example, if I select cost index 99, well, I'm going to go at 340 because it's demanding maximum performance basically of the aircraft at that cruise altitude, and is less ecologic basically. So now that we're done, so we do need cabin flow because the passengers is over 150. And for temperature, we're 26 degrees, so we can reduce this on here and we can start the APU. And I'm going to adjust my seating position because I was a bit on the side here, so just adjust my seating position here. Alright, the real cockpit I'll be at this position normally, so there we go. Now that we're all good, waiting for the flap. Okay, flap is open. Now we can start APU. And then we're going to start the checklist, and then we're going to be off. Now I just have to check the... Okay, right, so... Yeah, so probably... Okay, so since we're going to do a toga takeoff, we're going to have to do a steep takeoff, and then we're going to have to, yeah, go this way. We're going to be facing that way when we do. Alright, so we're ready. Check that everything is good with the video, no errors. What's alright, I think everything is good now. So since I have the co-pilot as well, we're going to do the before start checklist now. Before start checklist.
Before start checklist. Cockpit preparation.
Completed.
Let me check. Completed. Gear pins and covers.
Removed.
Signs.
Auto. Nav.
Fuel.
9.5. 9,500.
Takeoff data.
Set.
Set. Barrow.
QNH 1017.
QNH 1014.
Oh.
Your QNH barometric pressure not set correct. Before start checklist down to the
Okay.
line completed.
Okay. Okay, so I guess I got that wrong, maybe because the weather updated. Okay, so I think everything is good. I'm looking. I will discuss the fuel page once we're cruise. I'm gonna explain that. So let's actually let's let the co-pilot start the engines. We'll see how this goes. Oh. Engine start procedure.
Engine start procedure.
So she's turning on the bleed, the
Starting
ignition.
engine 2.
So one thing that I have to explain here on the bleed system. So as you can see the diagram, right? This is the conditioner page, but this is normal. This is amber because nothing is on. But basically, you can see the pressure here, PSI, and this gives the engines enough bleed air to basically start. So there's the air being put in the IP and the high pressure valve. So there's a lot of complexity in this system, but basically it just gives enough air for the engines to start, and basically bleed air is fed into the combustion chamber, causing the engines to start basically. So I have to consolidate on this information as I looked at the
Starting
manual.
engine 1.
Alright. And it is raining today. Apparently. It's pretty stormy, isn't it? Ah. Okay, I need to switch the screen here. Alright, for some reason my computer switched the screen here. But anyways, as you guys can see, I think on the screen, on the stream you can see. Hopefully you guys did not miss that much of the engine start procedure, but yeah. I'll explain that, but yeah. Yeah, 31.
Engine start procedure completed.
Alright. So we can set the spoilers and we're gonna set the flaps as we go. Auto brake as well, so we're just gonna set that as well. Checked. Okay, I just have to do the flight control check as well. Oh. I have to start checklist.
After a start checklist. Anti-ice.
Off.
Echem status.
Checked.
Pitch trim.
Down 0.0.
Rudder trim.
0.
After start checklist completed.
Flight control check.
Flight control check. Move side stick. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder now. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Flight control check completed.
Taxi procedure.
Taxi Taxi procedure. Taxi lights on. Brake checked. Pressure 0. Predictive wind shear system auto. Transponder on. Cabin report receive. Takeoff config normal. Taxi procedure completed.
Alright guys, we have done the checklist correctly. Now we're just heading towards the runway. So one thing that I wanted to mention was that so there's going to be a bit of rain. It's going to look like as if we're going light speed, but it's just the effect of rain. It's because of the lights reflecting on the particles of rain, basically. Because if we turn this off, right, there's a way that we can turn this lighting off and not see the rain particles anymore. But yeah, so we're just gonna hurry up a bit. We're behind schedule a bit. I can feel that we're pretty heavy anyways today because of the movement of the aircraft. Pretty slow. And yeah, on the toga you can see the engine pressure ratio is 1.6, which on the 319 and on the 320 it's not like that. It's much lower than that. Normally it's around 1.3 or something like that on the 319. Yeah, on the IAE engines. I prefer IE because they are better. Depends, because CFM is better for I mean, when you land with CFM there's a distinctive difference because you have to idle. Well, you have to idle, like when you land with CFM you can idle later than with IE, because IE has a slower time when it becomes idle, basically. So yeah, it depends, but there's a small difference, I guess. But it's pretty interesting. So we're gonna skip flaps 2. So we're gonna take off with flaps 2 configuration today instead of flaps 1, which we normally do. Reason being, of course, is because the runway is pretty short. So if we were to take off with flaps 1, we would be too heavy and we would overshoot the runway. And the V speeds are pretty high actually compared to the 319 especially. It's pretty high. I can test this as well. It's probably the first time that we fly on bad weather today on the stream, which is pretty good, because this means that there's going to be a lot of wind and other factors. Now we're on the runway. I do not know why I set the chrono on there, but okay. If it's what, now it's 30, so we're probably gonna arrive, yeah, around about, yeah. So as you can see, the F speed, we'll get into that. You guys will see one once we take off as well. You guys get to see how the action is done, the flaps, because there's specific speeds where we have to retract the flaps. It's a way wider turn than I'm used to. 321's pretty large. Alright, we can turn on the takeoff lights now. You can see that the particles are really light now compared to if I turn them down right here. Let me turn this on here. There are storms, so alright, so I think we're pretty much centered here. Anyways, we can always recenter anyways, so right, so before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist. Flight controls.
Checked.
Checked. Flight instruments.
Checked.
Checked. Briefing.
Confirmed.
Flaps.
Config 2.
Config 2. Takeoff speed and flex temperature.
So V141, V rotate 152, V2 156, no flex toga.
V1 141. V rotate 152. V2 156. Flex temperature not set. Ecam memo.
Takeoff no blue.
Takeoff no blue. Before takeoff checklist down to the line completed.
Alright guys, we're ready for takeoff. Chrono. Oh, takeoff.
Start chrono.
Alright guys, ready for takeoff. 50%. Man, Toga SRS, runway out of us blue. Okay, this is very hard.
Thrust set. 100 knots.
Checked.
100.
V1.
V1. Rotate.
Gear up.
Positive climb.
Positive 3. Gear up.
Gear up.
Oh, that was at the at the end of the runway. Alright. Woo! Oh. Alright, autopilot 1 can come on now.
Runway turn off, lights off.
Okay.
Taxi lights off.
Flaps 1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1. Check thrust levers in climb position.
Alright, we're just gonna wait a bit before it catches up speed again. You guys are gonna hear now. Woo! There we go. First climb SRS runway out of us blue. Ah. We're gonna arrive at we're gonna arrive at 11 o'clock. It says right here. So runway turn off, lights are off. Now, oh, whoa. We're gonna have to wait right here before we do a turn, because we're not yet high enough to make our turn yet. To wait until we get up to at least 10,000 feet basically. Yep, no worries with that. So, flap 0.
Speed checked. Flaps 0.
As you can see, we're not yet high up in the mountains yet to be able to turn. So this is why we're taking our time to climb, basically. So we have to set this, whoa, we have to set this to, there we go, 25,000 feet. And we're gonna direct to, okay, once we get to 10,000 feet, okay, now we're gonna direct. Okay, here we go, arrive at, yep, we are nearing 10,000 feet. And we're almost at the clouds anyways. So it's already an indication of how high we are. And as you can see the mountain tops.
Transition altitude.
You can see the mountain tops right now. We can turn off the wing lights off and we're all good to go. Transition altitude. Turn this on and now we can set after takeoff checklist. After takeoff checklist.
After takeoff checklist. Landing gear.
Up. Up. Yeah, okay, she didn't hear us. Okay. Set up. Okay.
Up. Flaps.
Retracted.
Retracted. Caps.
On.
Below the line. Arrow.
Standard set. Standard set. Oh my god. Standard set. Whoa.
Standard set cross-checked. After takeoff checklist below the line completed.
Alright guys, after takeoff checklist, all down to line. So as you can see, whoa. So as you see, we're out of the mist of Innsbruck, and you guys can see how close we are to the mountains, and that is why we took our time to take our turn. And there's the airport right there. We did all this. Now we're just entering the cloud regions now. We're entering the clouds right now, which is pretty cool. Now, I was going to say that the Airbus A321 has a different behavior in terms of light handling. I'll get into that once we get into cruise, but especially on takeoff, it's actually once we get rolling, it's actually very easy to keep it on the center line compared to the 319. It's a bit harder, I would say. It's a bit more difficult. So we select this. And the 321 does have a different fuel system, not different fuel system, but it doesn't have the outer, let's say the outer tanks on the wings compared to 319 and 320, and possibly 318 as well, as I believe. But yeah. Yeah, this is definitely a bit strange here as we're entering lots of clouds, I think. So this is not that. That's it. So as you guys can see, the empty fuel on board is 4.6. So we have plenty of fuel just in case of a divert of the weather if it gets worse and worse. Now we are passing quite a lot of clouds, so that is why it's becoming like this. Or a very nice view of the mountains at night. So we're gonna set our altitude at to 34,000 feet. Here we go. And set to 18 nautical miles now. This is the ATC talking. Almost at 20,000 feet, almost. Almost at 20,000 feet, almost. Got 20,000 feet hit. You can see the whole area kind of clearing out now from this stormy weather from Innsbruck. Yeah, the engines, I'll talk about the engines in a bit. Because the values seem pretty astonishing to me. I mean, I'm not used to seeing those high values on the N1 speed. Yeah, in about 80 nautical miles we will reach our top climb, reach our ceiling altitude basically. Once we get a cruise, we're going to check all the systems, and I'm going to explain a bit more in detail, hopefully. So you can see that the Tolus actually has better weathering system. It actually has the weather system implemented within itself. So if I change the range to 10, normally it will register the weather. Compared to the previous flights on Flight Factor, it did not. Yeah, we're just about 60 nautical miles to Top Cruise. We're gonna arrive at 11:12 p.m. Yeah, the weather's pretty clear here. I can see the horizon and the weather's pretty clear to me here. You can kind of see a bit of the wing tip here. Anyway, this is actually supposed to be that. The thing is supposed to be that color. Normally it's not supposed to be light. Don't need any weather at the moment because I mean I'm just gonna turn it on just in case again. But yeah, normally when we are flying the Airbuses, we normally always turn on the weather just in case there's some issue or anything like that, or if we need to deviate, if we need to take a shortcut, for example. That's all the airports here. I'm just gonna show you, wait a minute, maps, if we can show the map of where we are. So we just exited the mountain district, so we still have a long way to go, but so far we're here, and this is our destination. We're almost at the top of cruise. So we're gonna check our systems after that. One thing which is an important thing to note is that I did not turn on the wing anti-ice. Normally, if it is a stormy condition, you would, but in this case it is different because the TA, the total air temperature, so this, it was not below 10 degrees Celsius, and there's no visible moisture on the probes, which, well, you can't really see in the dark, but it's normally right here, it sticks out. And if there's visible moisture, well, you would turn on the wing anti-ice and the engine anti-ice. Normally, yeah, you turn on the engine anti-ice and wing anti-ice. But yeah, I mean, the aircraft would tell you when affected, but normally you would turn it on anyways without the aircraft telling you. But sometimes the aircraft does tell you. Now, this is one thing that I wanted to cover, is that this white dot coming up to us is another aircraft. So, because of our TCAS, so basically the traffic collision avoidance system, it detects that there's an aircraft above us, which is 1,300 feet above us, because there's a little plus sign, and we do have to be careful sometimes, but yeah, normally the aircraft might warn us because of this object, but usually, yeah, it's just to tell you guys what that was, basically the white dot coming up to us. And we are at seating altitude. So yeah, he's turning his way a bit. There you go, our cruise. Don't really know if you guys can see, but I can actually see the trail of them. And there's another one right here, so which is at about the same altitude as those systems. So co-pilot is checking the systems. Okay, so I will check the systems again. So let's look at the engines. So now the engine panel. So this is the amount of fuel that we have burnt so far on each engine. So it's the same, which is good. Now this is the oil quantity. So this is in the green, so there's no issue. If it was in the red, then it will be an issue. But in this case it is not. Oil quantity, we have plenty of oil quantity. This is the pressure, PSI. This is the temperature. Now this has to do with the combustion chambers, I think, and I have to consolidate on that on my book, the A320 study guide, so I will check on that if this is correct in what I'm saying. This is the vibrations as well, so N1 and N2. Now the N1, if you think of the diagram of the engine of the, well, specifically let's pick a CFM engine on the Airbus A320, 19, etc. You would have N1, which is the primary fan, and then N2 is the fan which is not really a fan, but it's the fan which is before the, basically the compressor, basically the fan before the compressor, basically. That's what N2 is. So the vibrations seem to be normal to me. So I'm just gonna turn on this fly with Lua thing. So just monitor my frames as well, because I just like seeing the frames. So we're fine. Even though the frames are not that high, well, I mean, for some reason my computer seems to be, everything's smooth, everything is really smooth. When I look there, it's smooth, so wait for a moment. Anyways, So yeah, I was talking about the N1 and N2 and NEC temperature. Now this I have to study again, but yeah, also come up with more information on this on another video. I'll go more into depth, but this is just the overview. Now the bleed system. Now everything is within the green. Now we saw right before we even started the engines, it was all in the amber. It was all amber. Now this is normal because the engines are not started, so there's no action being taken in or anything like that. But basically the principle, the principle how it works basically, well, this is the condition, this is the conditioner page basically. It's kind of like, you know, the temperatures of those, basically it's the temperature of that, basically the bleed air, basically the bleed air temperature, right? Now this is all normal because it's all in the green, so if it's not normal to be in amber, this is basically, it's in the middle, and this is the low pressure and hot and high pressure, so it's alright. Now this connects to the basically the engine, the bleed system if you think about it, and there's the IP and the high pressure valve, and like it's a bit complicated to explain on this, but maybe I'll explain more detail in another video. But basically you have this connects hypothetically with the engines, right? And the pressure PSI is what gives enough pressure to start the compressor and all the engine basically, and the air, which is at low pressure and high pressure, basically enter the engine. And basically the high pressure valve is just a backup, but usually comes through the IP basically. And yeah, it basically causes the fans to turn and mix in with the fuel, well, it causes the explosion to the combustion chamber, and then starts the engine basically. That's what we have here. I'm gonna have to consolidate on my information on that, but yes. Then we have the cabin pressure, the PSI pressure, and this is the cabin feet per minute. Now if we were going up in altitude, this would obviously go up. Cabin altitude, now this is the current altitude that the cabin is experiencing, so 7,260 feet. This page here, now this isn't usually on the aircraft. Usually when it is on the ground, those valves are open, but when it is up in the air, it's closed basically. We have the batteries. This is a bit more complicated, but essentially you have the integrated driven generator 1. This powers the generator 1, and generator 1 powers the AC bus 1, and AC bus 1 powers the ACS bus, and the DC bus 1, which is DC bus 1 battery powers the batteries basically, right? This is what the whole system is. A brief introduction, right? Now we do have the bus tie. Now this is just in case there's a error with the generators or anything like that, well, you can cut the bus tie and basically resets the circuits basically to kind of like, you know, on the computer when you reset it or when you restart it, well, that's what it does. Helps with any abnormalities. Yeah, if there's an error with the integrated engine generator or generator, well, that would be a bit of a problem, but we can still manage it. It's still viable. But yeah, and usually when the engines are off, you'll see that generators are both off, because the engine is a generator basically. It generates electricity for the whole aircraft basically. So there are different priorities, of course. So for example, you have the APU basically, and you have the engines, and then you have the APU, the exterior generator basically. So those are all power sources for the aircraft. Yeah, I do need to consolidate my information a bit on that, but this is how I understood how it works. The hydraulics page, now 3,000 psi is normal. Normally it's supposed to be at 3,000. Those are valves, of course. Now the hydraulic quantity. Now this little arrow would normally go down depending on the hydraulic quantity, and it's in the green, so it's fine. But if this arrow were to go in the middle or down to amber, then it will say give an error message, or just not an error message but a warning on the aircraft that low hydraulic fuel quantity or something like that. Yeah, so and then we have the fuel. Now I was going to talk about the fuel page actually, specifically on the A321, because the A321 has a different fuel configuration compared to the A320-19. Now normally, if you guys looked on the 320, take 320, well, there was line right here and there was some extra fuel in the outer tank, right? But instead the 321, the standard one, there's none of that. There's no exterior tanks or anything like that. Usually it's just that. So there's just one tank on each wing and there's one center tank, right? Now this is why the 321 standard has less range than the A319 or 320. However, if we add the extra long range tanks, right, we add those two, well, the 321 has more range. But essentially those are essentially connected, but usually when we have them full, it will be around about 15,000 kilograms of fuel, and usually that will be something like that. But yeah, it will be something like that. And it will start with those two, emptying, and then the center tank, and then those two basically. But usually the sequence goes, well, usually if those tanks become a certain number, well, I think it's 750, lower than 750, well, if you still have fuel left in there, well, to feed into that, you see, or to use fuel from the center tank to feed into that. Yeah, this is a bit of a different one. AP off, C off, and conditioner, you know that. So there, and this is from the conditioner page. There's obviously, this is all connected from the bleed system as well, so the engines also provide some conditioning. All the systems are all connected basically. Yeah, this is page, so nothing abnormal here. The doors as well. Now this is the oxygen. Now the oxygen is good. Normally it's supposed to be around 1,200 psi. This quantity of oxygen. Now there are specific regulations as to what's the limit of how much oxygen to have. Normally the aircraft will warn you if there's low oxygen in the aircraft, but yes. Now the wheels, this is the brake temperature, right? This is the brake temperature, and this is the tire pressure. Those are all sensors, so when the landing gear is extended, this will open up. Now we have the flight control page. So I'll start with this. So you see this pitch trim, right? This is very important because this is for the, if you think about it, on the tail, just on the tail, right? And this is basically up 0.3 degrees basically. So it's giving us this kind of like upward motion. Basically it's kind of pushing the aircraft a bit up. So depending, it will ultimately do this, the Airbus, but usually this is a very important component because it can really affect the aircraft behavior. So a scenario where this would not work is if the green and yellow hydraulic system was off. So as you can see, this ELAC controls the elevator ailerons, right? Elevator and aileron control, right? This is a spoiler control, of course. This controls this. This controls this. So, and yeah, you can see that the most important systems, of course, the rudder is the most very important system. So this is actually backed up by all hydraulic systems for, of course, more redundancy in case of one fails as a backup. So yeah, this is just a brief overlook of the systems. Of course, I know a bit more detail, but I have to consolidate my information on this, of course, a bit more. And I did say early on that I was actually surprised of the quantity of fuel being consumed by the engines. Now, what I observed in the Airbus A319, the amount of fuel that this has consumed in about 34 minutes, this is way more than what the 319 would normally consume. So logically speaking, well, since the Airbus A321 is longer, well, it consumes more fuel, so it's less ecological out of the three families. The 319 is a tank, basically. 319 is a tank because it can fly for very long hours. And depending on the weight and the fuel, well, it can fly for at least 7.5 hours, at least. But the 321, well, you can probably not do that because of the weight and since it's less, it's not less aerodynamic, but it's just the fact that it's really stretched. Well, it really need more gas to power it up, basically, to try and keep it up in the sky. It requires more power from the engines. So now EPR is engine pressure ratio, EGT is exhaust gas temperature, N1, again we covered through that, N1 primary fan, and N2 is the secondary fan, right? This is how much percentage they're going at. So N2, right, and that is the first fan, right, and N1 is how fast it's going, basically. So yeah. Now, of course, all systems on the 320 are mostly backed up by a lot of things, just to add more redundancy, of course. And yeah, that's basically just a general outline. You can see the fuel system is a bit different. This will probably be used once the developers code this in as well, because this is a bit different from the standard A320 and 19. Usually 320 and 319 just have those pumps on, but they have different meanings. Yeah, there's a bit of Freeman drop there. Those lights up there, that's another aircraft, by the way. Just I think that just on the VR thing, I can only. I mean, you can see it.
Traffic.
Yeah, you can see that it's
Traffic.
See that TCAS is warning us here because of traffic. Like I was saying, I think you can only see what I'm seeing when you put on the VR headset, because I can actually see the trails, but I don't think that's that clear on the stream. Maybe, not too sure. The entrance did increase for some reason. They did increase. I don't know why, but yeah. Anyways, 382 nautical miles. That's not that far, anyways, from London Heathrow. So let's check on the map. As you can see, we're just passing Luxembourg. Yeah, we're about. I would say halfway. It's about halfway. Makes sense though. I just gotta check. So top of the descent is. Yeah, top of the descent is at 10:45, just about. Yeah. So as soon as we finish this waypoint, we're going to be pretty close to the top of descent, so you know, we're going to have to start configuring the aircraft pretty soon. And also I'm going to do another check once we reach the hour, the systems check of course, and yeah. This is a pretty major city, I think. I believe right in front of us, so maybe my frame is a bit laggy on here. I don't really know why, but yeah. Also because of the heat outside, of course, and the outside temperature, of course. Talk about computer-wise, if it's very warm, well, this is gonna cause the computer to utilize the fans a bit more, I presume, and this will slow it down or something. Also, another thing on takeoff, we did not have the VOR indicators or anything like that. So omnidirectional radio. So we did not have that because probably we were too far probably to reach that, but that is why they were blue or blank. So yeah. Well, I wanted to consolidate my knowledge on the batteries as well, because when I read on manuals it was 25.5. Anything lower than that, then we would use external power, or we would start the APU, and it would take about 20 to 30 minutes to recharge the batteries back to 28 to 29 to full. Yeah. So yeah, also another way to find the VORs, even if we do not select this, is that we look at this instrument is called the DDT, so DDM, Digital Distance Magnometer, basically. This is what it's called, and we use that sometimes to see the VOR. And depending on the compass here, well, to show which direction the VORs are, to direct to them. ADF, same thing. If you're in 17, normally if we like this, we would be able to see it. Yep, this is already the channel. So the channel is about 160 nautical miles, I'll presume. So not far off. Not far off indeed. So it's about 14 minutes till the Delta Echo November Uni Tango waypoint we pass. Yeah, 159, yeah. So almost there. 50 minutes. No, 321. Like I mean, I prefer using 321 for long range because I can fit more passengers, of course, and also it's. I mean, it's more. I mean, it's actually better for longer range, even though it's not. I mean, compared to 319, it's not the best in terms of fuel consumption. The best in terms of fuel consumption per hour and stuff like that. But 321 you can fit more passengers in, so it's better. But I prefer doing long haul with 321 actually. But yeah, even though I mean the standard 321, as I said before, unless it does not have the extra long range tanks, I mean it's pretty much not as good as 319. I mean it has a lower fuel quantity than 319 at maximum. So I mean I would rather use a 319 than 321, but if you add in the extra long range tanks, well, it's better, I would say. But again, so all depends on that. We had 299 nautical miles already from. Whoa, that's pretty. That's the first time ever I get a lag spike like that. First time ever. Probably because of the weather, maybe I'd say. Presume we're passing over a pretty heavy city, so that is why we are probably why my computer is a bit. Next plane 11 depends so much on frame rates. Oh wow. Oh, with that close already? Okay. Yeah, Brussels, okay. Not that far off London. Heathrow. See another plane up there as well, passing by. I mean, as soon as you cross the channel, it's pretty straightforward. It goes in faster. I was looking for this. There we go. Looking into converting meters. I mean, we're flying at 10,360 meters. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting seeing that actually. I always wondered why they use feet in aviation. Why not meters? It makes more sense to use meters than feet. But yeah, that's a question that gonna have to find out. I believe that the darkness in front of us is the channel. That's pretty cool to see. Yeah, the aircraft is slowing down. In terms of N1 a bit. I think that pretty soon we're going to start seeing the top of descent pretty soon in our range. That's going to be pretty cool. The wind is really affecting our aircraft. I mean, whenever I fly out there in the aircraft, I can tell when the wind is affecting it, judging by the sound of the aircraft. But yeah. Yeah, the lag spikes are pretty hitting. I don't know why. Probably because the stream or the heat of the engine or explain. We did actually whoa, okay. We did actually lose a bit of speed here. We did lose a bit of time here. We actually increased. It's a bit annoying. Oh, right now it decreased. Very strange. As you can see, with the wind pattern and the frame rate sometimes bugging out, it does actually affect the arrival time actually. But if we actually increase the value in the cost index, this would heavily reduce the arrival time. Basically, we would arrive, I think, at 11:05 or something like that instead of 11:13. So it does actually affect this. See, the channel already is there in front of us. One hour is almost there. This is about the distance that we do from Lyon to Lyon-Saint-Exupéry to Paris-Charles de Gaulle right now. As you can see, I just need to move my head up. So you can see that there's a clear line. Now this is the shore of France. So, and the darkness is the channels, the ocean. And we should be able to see England pretty soon. But yeah. We can see the top of descent in front of us right now. This is very relaxing and relieving. We're getting closer now. And as we near our top of descent, you guys will hear the engine spool down. It's like as if it's like a fan just, you know, slowing down. It's like something like that. It's really cool. Yeah, it is increasing quite a lot actually. Well, yeah, we're probably gonna arrive at 11:20 or something like that. I'm predicting something like that, you know, until touchdown. Frames have increased. Now this is probably because there's less objects to render. But the reason why it's I mean, it's pretty heavy on my frames because we're passing repairs, so I mean, there's quite a lot. That's the thing. Oh wait, okay. Okay. As you can see, this is the ocean right here. Ocean is blue. I mean, on the radar, it's blue completely. I mean, now the weather radar, essentially, I cannot really show you guys here, but essentially there is a thing underneath the nose, which is like, it's like one of those antennas, you know, on one house, right? We have one of these antennas, you know, for the Wi-Fi or radio, whatever, TV channel. Well, it's exactly like that, except it's facing this way, and on a 180 degree range, right, it registers the weather in front. And this button right here, it's basically, you're basically telling it to go up or down, and basically depending on the gain, well, if you wanted to register most of the terrain, well, you increase the gain so it's facing more down instead of up, which is a cool feature. Yeah, that's just one side note I wanted to include. Now we're completely on the ocean. We're no longer in France now. We are officially crossing the channel. Pretty cool. So about 6 nautical miles we should be hitting our top of descent. And our descent to London Heathrow will be pretty steep because the runway is there, you know, so it's going to be pretty quick. $200 nautical miles. Now we will be entering the weather data now, so that I can update it just in case it has changed. So we're currently here on the map. We're all the way down there, and we are now here. So as you can see, the time. So Echo Golf Lima Lima refresh the weather. QNH 1013, 30 degrees and 8 knots. Okay, so we go to performance and then we go transition altitude, so we go to 1013, enter QNH, and 110/8 knots. Not that strong with the wind. Before, it was a few days ago in Innsbruck, the 320, no, yeah, it was with the 320, there was about 38 knots wind. Now, 38 knots is the maximum amount of wind strength or tailwind that you can possibly have on the 319 and 20 allowed, because anything higher than that is technically illegal, because for safety, passenger safety and the aircraft safety. So it was a pretty unusual scenario, but it did challenge me on the landing techniques. We could test that scenario one day when that pops up again. Okay, now we have an error here. So what happened here? What happened here? Set offside, set offside. Yeah, this error I'm gonna have to see on the manual, but this is a very unusual one. So I'm just gonna set this to there. Now this is a very interesting error. Offside data. Okay. Okay, hang on. Right, this is a very unusual error. I'm gonna have to study that another time, but I can't really remember how to solve that one, but it's not any concern because this does not affect us, but remember this. Let me see this error here. So it's oil flight control failure. Set offside. Here's England. Okay, hang on a minute. Okay, so we're just gonna, in a few minutes we're gonna descend, but yeah. Right, so I just looked at the manual right now, so it's alright. This is okay. Now, since this flight management computer failed, well, we have one left, which is the one in front of us. So this error is not really a major error, but however, we're gonna have to fix this. I'm gonna leave it to the ground crew to fix, or the technicians to fix that as we arrive. So now what altitude? Okay, so we're gonna have to descend to 22,000 feet in a few minutes. So yeah, I just looked back at the manual and I remember what it was, so it's alright. There's gonna be a green dot. As you can see this one works. So this was a bit of a strange one, but yeah. I guess that doesn't work on longer range, but the green dot is there, so we're gonna descend. You can hear the engine spool down. So about that error, right? So basically, since both computers are both computers, the FMG, right? They both work together now. They both run on this inertial reference system, basically, and the flight plans and everything are sorted with this computer. Now, if one of them fails, where the other one can continue. So we can continue to use this one. However, this one, we can still use it on the range. However, on any larger range, more than 10 nautical miles, we can not use, of course. So this is what I just remember from the error. Now we can use it for this, but we cannot use it for any more, basically. So if we click on constraints, waypoints, VOR, NB, and airports. So now those clouds are pretty so normally if I just zoom out a bit. So now those types of clouds normally we tend to avoid because it's not really recommended, because there might be turbulence, or there may be ice, or there may be something else, but it's usually avoided just in case. There are different modes, of course, but if it is red, then that's really a no-go, because that means that there are storms. So yeah. Well, there's a bit of wind here. So we set this to 15,000 feet. As you can see, the airport is just there, so it's just a matter of just descending at the right altitude. So yeah, no worries for that fault. I remember how to solve it. Just had a bit of a memory check there. Yeah, because I'm not used to seeing those faults before. I never had one of those before, but I did read about it the other day, so I just had to reread my manual right now, so that it's good and up and fresh. Oh, I'm just going to reduce the temperature here. And did I enter in the temperature correctly here? Is it 30 degrees? It was 30 degrees, that's working. Yeah, it was 30 degrees for me. Yeah, this is all London right there in front of us. 45 frames per second. Yeah. Really nice. Yeah, she already set down the thing already, so that's cool. We're just going down below 20,000 feet. Okay, we're going to set to 10,000 feet. Yeah, 10,000 feet. Okay, let's go check the engines real quick. Everything seems normal as well. This is normal, of course. You can see right there, it goes below, and the camera altitude is descending. This was just a button that, if you have okay, yeah. So autopilot 2 cannot be used, cat 3 single. That means that when we land, we can only use category 3 and single autopilot, basically. That's what it means. Now I'm just gonna clean my goggles here, because I need to clean my goggles actually here to see a bit clearer, because since it's a bit blurry. Okay, here we go. Now this is better. By London Heathrow, you can just see London Heathrow just right there. So as soon as we reach 10,000 feet, we are going to turn off those floodlights and set the auto brake and prepare ourselves for the configuration for landing. So yeah, as I was resuming, right, so this is perfectly fine. Flight control is not altered at all. Just this, which is not a major error at all, so it's alright. I think, yeah, you can kind of see that. I think this is London Heathrow in front of us. You can kind of see the cars a bit driving on the motorways. Yeah. Usually, this is a different approach to what I'm used to, because usually I'll be on the other side usually to do that type of landing. Yeah, I believe this is London Heathrow right there. Oh yeah. Now it says that we're gonna cross the airport. Okay, let's get configuration set, I think, very soon. So I think what we're gonna do is that we're gonna set this to 6,000 feet, 4,000 feet, sorry, and then yes, okay. So it wants us to land at this runway, but yeah, okay, let's turn on the lights here. Yep, so we are just there. As you can see, the lights are lighting up. So we're going to set this to 20 nautical miles, and then we're going to activate the approach phase. Ah, cool. So we're 60, so we're just above London Heathrow right now, so we're going to prepare this aircraft for landing. So auto brake low, and then as soon as we get to 7,000 feet we're going to drop, we're not going to drop the landing gear yet, but yeah, we're just passing over it right now. Pretty surprising that, I mean, I'm gonna go over my graphics after this to show you guys what graphics I have, but it's pretty surprising to have this smoothness, as we say. So okay, this is nearing 6,000 feet, so I'm gonna prepare the aircraft for landing configuration. So approach checklist.
Approach checklist. Briefing.
Confirmed.
Ecam status.
Checked.
Seatbelts.
On.
Arrow.
QNH 1013.
QNH 1013 set.
Click. Click.
Mission level. 279 set.
Yeah.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Set normal. Approach checklist completed.
Alright guys, so we're almost there, so we just have to do a turn and then that's it. We're going to be centered on their runway. So as soon as we cross this, we're going to set gear down and flaps as well. So we're still actually to save time, we're going to direct to this no, direct to this, hang on. Okay, what we're going to do is this. When you're heading here, we're going to firstly, whoa, okay. First you're going to set this, and then there we go. So
Approach phase activated.
yes, what we're going to do is we're going to just set this to here, set heading to set heading 100. There we go, and we're just going to make our turn and the green dot, so we're going to select flaps 1.
Speed is not okay for this flaps position.
What? No, it did. Flaps 1.
Speed checked.
Okay.
Flaps 1.
Yeah, you can hear the engine a bit spooling up a bit here. So as you can see, it's right there. So we're doing the right turn here. Flaps 2.
Speed checked. Flaps 2.
And we're just going to wait until we reduce our speed to a reasonable amount, and then we're going to select the gear down. And we can turn off the autopilot if we wanted to, but if we want to follow this path, oh, gear down.
Gear down.
Flaps full.
Already off.
Alright, check landing lights on, checked. Landing checklist. Landing checklist. Landing checklist.
Landing checklist. Cabin crew. Advised. Best approach altitude.
6,000.
Auto thrust.
Set.
Auto brake.
Set on.
ECAM memo.
Landing no blue.
Landing no blue. Checklist completed.
So yeah, so guys, we're on the glide slope right now. So we need to just see the happy lights right here. Wait a minute. We need to see the left. Okay. We have to divert a bit. Yeah, almost got mixed up the wrong runway here. Right, I do have to be careful. I did have time there, but yes, I almost got the wrong runway there.
2000.
This is why the instruments, right, that was not really, like, I knew something was wrong because I didn't see the boxes right now. Now that I see the boxes, I know that everything is good, but before I didn't, so I knew something wasn't right. So you see the peppy lights. Are properly configured for landing. Oops, it is. Okay, let's reduce it here. Okay, now we're good. Okay.
1000.
Stable. Two whites.
300. 200.
Continue.
100. 50. 40. 30. Retard. Retard. Retard.
Ground spoilers. Dissolve.
Reverse green. I do not. So we're slowing down right there. That was an okay landing. I could have perfected it a tiny bit on the center line, but yeah. 70 knots. Alright, we can take the next one. Turn this off here. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to London Heathrow. So we're just gonna turn this off here. Alright, all lights off, start the APU. So we're gonna taxi to our gate. Here we go. Okay, set. Chrono stopped. So 1 hour and 36 minutes. this flight was. Very long flight that was. Well, moderate, let's say. So yeah. So, after landing checklist.
After landing checklist. Flaps. Retracted. Spoilers. Disarmed. APU. Started. Radar. Off. Predictive wind shear system. Off. After landing checklist completed.
Alright guys, we're just gonna park right in here. We're gonna park here, actually. As you can see, the aircrafts all lined up here. Gate is right there. We're just gonna park right here. Turn off the lights. Okay. Engine shut down. Okay, brake fan on, of course. So, fuel pumps off. If you bleed on, go turn on this. Ground control checked. So we can open up the door. Let the passengers out already. So we can let the passengers out, and then we're gonna hear a brake fan here. And since the staircase isn't programmed yet in the Vulcan updates, well, we can't really use it, but yeah. So I'm just gonna go through the parking checklist while with my co-pilot while the passengers board off. So, parking checklist.
Parking checklist. APU bleed.
On.
Engines.
Parking or engines off.
Seat belts.
Set off.
Exterior lights.
Off. Yeah, okay. Off.
Fuel pumps.
Off. Set off. Set off.
Parking brake.
On.
ATC TCOP.
TCAS standby.
Stand by.
Okay.
Parking checklist completed.
Alright. So we can turn back on the fans here. This was just to add a bit of atmosphere when the engine shut down, since I like the sound. So we can just exit the cockpit here. So this is me standing up out of the cockpit. As you see, we're through the 321. So let's pretend as if a stair is here. So if we walk outside, it is really the 321. As you can see, it is a pretty big aircraft. And yeah. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, this long live stream with Airbus A321, and I'll see you next time for the next adventure, and wherever we go, 319 or 320, we shall see. And I'll try to pick some times where the weather is pretty extreme, and yeah, take care, and bye bye.